Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. ChatGPT is less than a year old, but its best days may already be behind it. I know that sounds crazy, but in the world of artificial intelligence that's moving extremely quickly, products seem to rise and fall on a monthly basis. And the crazy thing right now is I think we're starting to see the wow factor of ChatGPT kind of go away as more and more models become available, as more products become available. People's interest in going to ChatGPT to try to ask questions is really starting to subside. People have found out that it's maybe not as accurate as they would like, and it's relatively expensive compared to some newly free models that are available. So I want to dig into some of the trends here and what it might mean for some of the companies involved. My name's Travis William. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content and check out two links below. One is for an event that I'm doing on August 18th in the Washington, D.C. area. If you live there, check that out. And I have a newsletter as well covering asymmetric opportunities in the market. So if you're interested, check that out. Well, let's go to a couple of things that I think investors need to know about ChatGPT specifically and the way that OpenAI is building that product. This is Google Trends. This is a chart that I've been keeping an eye on for a while now. And you can see that the interest in ChatGPT has declined really rapidly over the last few months. In November, this is when ChatGPT was released and became available to the public, became more and more available over the next couple of months. GPT-4 was eventually released, and searching for the term ChatGPT actually peaked to the week of April 16th through April 22nd, 2023. Since then, search terms have dropped off like a rock. In the most recent week, this index is at 58. This is an index, not exactly the number of search terms, but on a relative basis, it's about 58% what it was. And in the current week, we're down about 60% from the peak just in April. So the trend here for ChatGPT is that people are not using it like they used to. I think the thing with artificial intelligence that we've seen over and over again is that there's this wow factor. There's, oh my gosh, you can just ask ChatGPT a question. You got to try this. But after a little while, that wow factor wears off. And then you have to get to the point where, is there real utility? And that's where I think we're starting to see that ChatGPT is not as useful as we would like to think. There was a study that came out this week that showed that ChatGPT was getting worse. Now, I want to caveat that the study doesn't necessarily distinguish between whether the model is actually getting worse or whether people's expectation of the model are going up. I think both of those things could potentially be happening simultaneously. But the point here is that people's perception is that the model is getting worse. And that's really not a good sign for ChatGPT and for OpenAI. And I want to get to exactly how these companies, AI specifically, makes money, because I think this is important to talk about the underlying economic incentives for a company like this. They have an API that companies can access, and you buy tokens. There's 3 cents for 1,000 tokens for 8K content, for 30 to 32K content, 6 cents per token. As we've seen these models pop up in different products, you can really tell that the inferences are relatively costly, especially if you're allowing people to do unlimited inferences. So this is a very real cost for companies that are fine tuning their own models, which again, you can see is something you can do right here, or doing inferences with OpenAI through that API. The challenge from that cost perspective is we heard this week that Meta, in partnership with Microsoft, is open sourcing Llama 2, which is another large language model, very similar to OpenAI's model, but now it's going to be free to use for everybody with less than 700 million users. So a lot of these smaller products that we've seen pop up in the last few months could be built using this open source model. Now, not only is the model open source, but we've seen that hardware makers like Qualcomm are going to start putting that model on device. So if the model is on device and you can simply access it in the background without accessing it without accessing it in the cloud, that's going to be very compelling for a lot of different use cases. So is the value of ChatGPT dropping like a rock? And I think the answer is yes. A year from now, we may be able to do the same things that we're doing with ChatGPT just by asking your computer a question or your smartphone a question. And then that large language model will do that work on device in the background. And it's the product that sits on top of it, the thing that you're interacting with. That's where that value is going to be created, because the model is becoming a commodity. This is really the threat to OpenAI, is that the model's becoming a commodity, and ChatGPT was the first product to really reach mass adoption, 100 million users in just a couple of months. But if that user base is going away because they're finding value elsewhere, that's really a threat to the companies. And the fact that Microsoft, OpenAI's biggest partner, is actually partnering with Meta to bring the Llama 2 model to the open source community and providing infrastructure, I think ultimately is a really bad sign for ChatGPT and OpenAI, at least for the value that they're creating long term. So, a lot going on in artificial intelligence, but I think one thing to think about is that ChatGPT's best days may already be behind it as early as we are in this AI journey. What do you think about the future of ChatGPT? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.